AI is moving fast. So fast, it's hard to keep up. In fact, in ServiceNow's latest AI Maturity Index, scores dipped 20% from last year. But that's okay, because AI isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. You may be behind today, but tomorrow you could be a pace setter. Dive into ServiceNow's AI Maturity Index and see how you can innovate as fast as your ambitions. Visit servicenow.com/AI maturity.
Attention Ditto Heads. Attention Bo Scouts.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
It's time for the Soul of Excellence.
He is a radio host here in New York.
The Rush Hour is on the air.
Rush.
Now here's James Golden.
Ladies and gentlemen, indeed, Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour is on the air. A little technical difficulty here, but thank you for bearing with me. So much to discuss. As always, my friends, on this, the Tuesday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, there is a lot still going on, of course, with the immigration stories that continue. Representative Maxwell Frost is out again, making comments this time about the suggestion that some of these deportees are not eligible for bond. That, of course, is going on. On Friday, switching gears from immigration, there is going to be a vote in the United States Senate, a rescission bill trying to claw back some of the money that has been spent in ways that no longer are deemed appropriate. For instance, the $1 billion or more that is being spent on PBS and public broadcasting, that will be up for a vote. We have a story today from the Washington Post. Rural Americans and kids will suffer if PBS is defunded. That, according to the head of PBS, to which I counter, the only ones that will suffer would be the broadcasters that don't have to earn their keep in the public arena like most broadcasters do, but those that are guaranteed a salary, guaranteed funding from the taxpayers. They are not accountable to anybody but themselves. That may be coming to an end, and hopefully so. The continued battles in Texas are really taking shape, and this has, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of upset. What is happening in Texas is that the DOJ has found that some of the quote-unquote majority districts are unconstitutional. They are against the law. And so there's an effort now to redistrict. Well, what are these districts? These are districts that were written in to be, quote, racial districts. These are the Black Caucus districts in Texas. They are safe because they've been written, the districts have been written in such a way that there's a concentration of the black population around the areas, and they were written this way on purpose. Well, that's up now for redistricting, and the complaints are pouring in over that. One of the other interesting stories that has emerged is that Donald Trump has accused Adam Schiff, Senator now Adam Schiff, of mortgage fraud. And he's calling for this matter to be looked at and perhaps prosecuted. President Trump said the mortgage giant Fannie Mae's Financial Crimes Division has concluded that Adam Schiff, Senator Schiff, has engaged in a sustained pattern of possible mortgage fraud. He said that his primary residence was in Maryland, and that way he got a cheaper mortgage. he must live in California because he was a congressman from California. So this matter now is going to be, or could be, investigated, and we shall see if anything will come of it. Mortgage fraud is a serious issue, and crooked Adam Schiff, now a senator, needs to be brought to justice, Donald Trump said. To which I say, wouldn't this just be ironic and delicious? Delicious and ironic at the same time. Now, the issue I spoke about earlier that Mr. Frost is upset is that the Trump administration, through Immigration and Customs, is saying that all foreign nationals who unlawfully crossed over from the United States to Mexico must remain in detention for the duration of their deportation proceedings. They cannot be bonded out because of what they've done. And of course, this is not sitting well with the left, who wants to give illegal immigrants every chance in the world to escape justice. Obama in the hot seat with liberals. Obama made a big speech fundraising. He's out doing first fundraiser of the year. He went on to complain that Democrats should stop their navel gazing and grow a tougher hide. Stop whining about Trump rather than properly standing up to his policies. This was last Friday, New York Times. Some members of the left are not having it. Whoopi Goldberg, for one, did a vicious rant on The View and just is very much upset that this is the position of the former president. So, there are so many other things. The story still on the Democrat plantation raid in California is still continuing to reverberate. In PMSNBC's coverage of it, there has been not one mention, apparently, of the suspected child labor piece of this, that there were children found working in this plantation. So they'll continue. And by the way, I keep asking this question. Why aren't, and I'd love to hear the answer to this, why aren't the owners of that plantation in jail with over 360 illegal immigrants captured, detained from working there, and then on top of it, the children? Why are they still free? So those are just some of the issues. We're going to take a quick break, my friends. Come back. I've got so much audio for you to listen to today, things that have happened. And there, by the way, is another huge story. We are not going to have time for this one today. But this, of all places, and I don't usually go there anymore, but I took a gander on Slate. It's been a lot of years since I went to Slate. And Slate, for political junkies, has one of the most interesting, it's from the left, but still, the title, How Strategist Brain Took Over the Democrat Party. The subtitle, During the Reagan Revolution, Democrats Settled on New Ways to Win Election. It is destroying them right now. This article is going to take some time. Prints out to 19 pages, started going through it, started reading it, and the analysis is really interesting. There's still also a lot of analysis going on from Gavin Newsom's trip to South Carolina last week. So we'll touch on as many of these headlines as we can. This deal in Texas, by the way, is huge. Donald Trump wants to see whether he can squeeze 4 more electoral seats, 4 more seats for the Republican Party out of Texas. And, of course, Democrats are just beside themselves. Rolling Stones, ladies and gentlemen. 1978. All right, number one on the U.S. album charts with the album Some Girls. The cover of the album ran into trouble. Lucille Ball, Farrah Fawcett, Liza Minnelli. Her mother was one of the women on the cover, Judy Garland. Raquel Welch, the estate of Marilyn Monroe, all of them protested and threatened legal action because their faces had been used on the album cover. The Stones at number one, 1978. James Golden, Bo Snerdley with you. Fastest hour in American media. Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, the Tuesday edition continues. Don't go away.
Rush.
This is the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Bo Snerdley.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
I'm Cyndi Lauper. My psoriasis was all over, even on my scalp, which may mean 4 times the risk for psoriatic arthritis. But Cosentyx works on both.
Cosentyx secukinumab is prescribed for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis 300 milligram dose and adults with active psoriatic arthritis 150 milligram dose. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur, like tuberculosis or other serious bacterial, fungal, or viral infections. Some are fatal. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms like fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, had a vaccine or plan to, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions and severe eczema-like skin reactions may occur. Learn more at Cosentyx.com or 1-844-COSENTYX. Ask your doctor about Cosentyx.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Oh, I know some of you must be like me, haven't heard this one in ages. Remember this one? Birthday today for Alicia Bridges. This one blew up in 1978. Dance music raging across America. Went up to number 5 on the charts. Action. I love the nightlife. Happy birthday, Alicia Bridges. Disco age, my friends. Okay, let's get to it. A few things first. Kevin, let's start with number 1. This Home Depot founder, Ken Langone, he was not pleased with Donald Trump going into the last election. He has changed his tune, apparently. This, in an interview on CNBC, and listen to the new founder.
Look, let me tell you right now.
Yes.
I am sold on Trump. In fact, I'll say this. I think he's got a good shot at going down in history as one of our best presidents ever.
That is a real turnaround because you didn't want to vote for him.
I tell you the reason. I want to tell you, I'm a believer. What I'm seeing happening is absolutely nothing short of a great thing. And there's a beat. People are walking with more bounce than it's all around.
I gave you quite a bit of grief.
Huh?
I gave you grief.
You give me grief?
I gave you grief when it was a binary choice. You're still complaining about Trump and it was a binary choice. It's like, are you kidding me?
Knowledge implies one thing. When you made a mistake, admit it.
Okay.
I think this guy is turning out to be a president.
Right.
One of the pilots on that miraculous trip to Iran that we wiped out, whatever the hell we wiped out.
Right.
He said, you're the only guy that in the presidency that would have done what you did. One of the pilots said that.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's probably right.
Yeah, so you've got that. You've also now had President Trump outside the White House today. And for those of you that can't get enough of the Epstein news, Epstein all the time, Epstein, Donald Trump talked about Epstein with the reporters. Cut 2, let's check in with the president on the Epstein matter.
I think the Attorney General's handled it very well.
How many more seats? The Attorney General briefed you on the DOJ and FBI review, the findings of that review. The Attorney General briefed you on that.
What? On the
DOJ and FBI
on what?
review.
On what subject?
Epstein.
Okay.
On Epstein, of the review of the files. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
A very quick briefing.
Did she tell you, what did she tell you about the review? And specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
On Texas, how many more seats do you want the Republicans to draw?
5.
And he's not kidding. That question, I'm telling you, that story is going to blow up. It is a huge story. How many more seats do you want for Republicans? 5. If that happens, and this goes beyond party, folks. This is straight up and down. Well, I'll put it like this. When we get back, I'll play a little Jasmine for you. And she's not the only one that's going totally nuts over this effort to redraw congressional lines in Texas. James Golden, Bo Snerdley. It is the Tuesday rush hour, fastest hour in American media. Whatever you do, stay here. Do not go away.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Parents of tweens, if you're familiar with far-off drop-offs...
Dad, stop, right here.
Or get DMs about what's for dinner, you may be experiencing tween milestones. For your son or daughter, these can start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers later in life.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next.
Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination. Brought to you by Merck.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
You know the song. It's part of the history of the era. This was as the doo-wop era was starting to... This is that transition period. The doo-wop era is starting to recede, and then you move into more kind of soul was the term for R&B and all of it, soul music. This one was kind of on the cusp in between. The year 1956. Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers. Puerto Rican group, for the most part, out of New York City. 13 years old, he was the youngest performer at the time to go to the number 1 position. And indeed, this was number 1 on the UK charts. On this day in 1956, number 6 it went to in the United States. A little nice, sweet jazz influence, too. I mean, wow, this music was rocking, right? Yes, James Golden, Snerdley, fastest hour in American media continues. Okay, let's jump into some of these things that we've been discussing. This deal, I'm telling you folks, if this happens, number 1, the House changes. Now you have more room to get the agenda if this is able to happen before 2026 elections. if these lines, these districts are to be more competitive in Texas, and the Republican Party were somehow even able to pick up 2 or 3 seats out of, Trump wants 5. But if they were even able to pick up 2, 3 seats in Texas, it makes all the difference. P.S. There is going to be a political reaction to this beyond words from Democrats. There will be lawsuits for sure, but there will also be an attempt to gerrymander in heavy blue states to try to make up the difference. This is high stakes poker that's going on here in terms of the redrawing of these seats. So let's first go to KHOU, which is television in Houston. That's cut 11. And then we'll go after that and deal with Jasmine and the game. But here's the way that the news is reporting this in Texas.
Governor Greg Abbott wants Texas lawmakers to redraw the state's congressional maps after the Department of Justice claimed 4 districts, including 3 right here in Houston, are unconstitutional.
But Democrats call it a power grab aimed at trying to bolster GOP power in Congress to help President Trump. Victor Jacobo breaks down why this is happening and reaction.
The Department of Justice claims these minority-majority Houston congressional districts, the 9th, 18th, and 29th, as well as the 33rd in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, are unconstitutional because of what it calls racial gerrymandering. Now, Governor Greg Abbott is adding redrawing the state's district lines to the upcoming special session starting July 21st. Republican leaders of the Texas legislature, including Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and House Speaker Dustin Burrows, shared statements today saying they agreed to redraw the maps, with Burrows saying it's an effort to uphold fairness in the redistricting process. But Democrats are pushing back.
We have to fight it and stop it now.
Congressman Al Green represents the 9th District and says the effort would break up minority power in his district. In a statement, Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia called it, quote, a brazen racist power grab.
This attempt to get rid of majority-minority districts will have far-reaching effects on people within this district and so much more.
Candidates for the 18th District echoed those sentiments. What is at stake if Republicans are able to accomplish this and redraw the lines of the districts?
I would say the worst stripping of representation in modern history.
The stakes are really high for the Trump administration.
KHOU political analyst Brandon Rottinghouse says the move is spurred by the Trump administration to gain more seats in Congress in next year's midterms. Doing so can help empower his agenda in the second half of his term, but there could be risks in the strategy.
Trying to squeeze more seats out of these states means potentially hurting the incumbents they have. And in a wave election, it could create a real liability for those incumbents to return to office.
In Houston, Victor Jacobo, KHOU, 11 News.
Now, that's a really interesting statement, folks, because if they're going to redraw these lines and they're not going to use racial parameters, what does that mean? That means that some incumbents already will have their districts changed as a result. They are going to have more, how shall we say, hostile Democrats in their district that they'll have to defend their seats. So this is a very interesting move. These seats, the way that they are drawn, I'm guaranteeing you, I promise you, some of this is going to end up in court. Now let's check in with Jasmine, the Jasmine, 12, and her reaction to all this. Jasmine.
Yeah, so first of all, it hasn't quite been said clearly that Texas has always been found to be intentionally discriminatory. And so I want y'all to understand the makeup of my state. The state is a majority-minority state. And what this legislature historically has done is what they plan to do again, is to dilute the voices of people of color in order to make sure that they can get to where they're trying to go. We saw this Department of Justice decided to put out a letter, and what did they do? We only have 4 seats that are represented by black folk, where the vast majority of the people that get to decide who they have represent them are black. They decided to attack 3 of the 4 seats that we have in the state. They decided to go after a Latina. They are specifically deciding to splinter the communities of common interest, as well as just blatantly say we are going to dilute minority voices. So we know that the courts, ever since we've had a Voting Rights Act, have always found this state to be intentionally discriminatory. That is what they are going to do. So I need people of color to understand that the scheme of the Republicans has consistently been to make sure that they mute our voices so that they can go ahead and have an oversized say in this. So I fully anticipate that's exactly where they're going with this map. It's the only way to do it. We didn't understand how we got to the map that they gave us last time because that state was grown by 95% people of color. They went out of their way to make sure that we got 0 new seats for people of color. So that's exactly what they're going to do this time.
First of all, seats are not awarded on color. And this idea, people of color. I mean, what people don't have some kind of color? So I think that would include everybody, people of color. But look, Democrats rigged an election that guaranteed seats for groups that are in their identity caucus. It is illegal to do these on the basis of race. But everybody wink, wink, nod, nod. Let's just make sure that we have some safe black district seats the way that they are. You know, the easiest way to do this across the United States, and I guarantee you, nobody in either party would want this, is to do an AI program that looks at the entire country, puts it in a grid that proportionately maps people in districts and according to a grid. Nobody wants that. You look at any one of these cities, any one of these congressional maps, there's no rhyme or reason except political as to how these districts are carved. Let's just be honest about it. And everybody's looking for the advantage when they're in power. That's part of politics. The Democrats, though, used race as a basis to make sure that they had some representation for their constituent groups, and now it's being challenged in Texas. We'll see. Okay. This is going to be a big deal, folks. Promise you that. Let's move to education. Cut number 4. President Donald Trump on the Supreme Court decision that allows him to dismantle the education department.
We had a big win with the Supreme Court on the Department of Education. We want, as you know, we want to bring education back to the states, take the federal government out of it. A little tiny bit of supervision, but very little, almost nothing. Like to make sure they speak English. That's about all we need.
Mr. President, what would you tell a student who might be in a struggling, failing school right now? What would you tell them?
Well, we have school choice, and we're getting school choice approved all over the country. We just got it done in Texas, and school choice is the answer. Yes.
The union that represents education department, they're part of this government union, is a woman by the name of Sharia Smith. She is the president of this union, and she is among the liberal base, a lawyer herself, I believe, that's just really unhappy with this Cut 3. And this, I will play maybe not all of it, but as much of it as we can tolerate.
Emotions, Wolf. First one is disappointment. I'm a lawyer by trade and live for Supreme Court decisions, at least to have reasoning. So, to have the 6 justices just allow this to happen without even explaining their decision is extremely disappointing. Then I go into anger. Anger since the beginning of this administration by the misrepresentation about what we actually do. There's so many statements about returning education to the states. But Wolf, I was a teacher. Education curriculum, teacher quality testing has always been with the states. What our department does and did was fund school districts, fund colleges, fund schools, and fund American citizens who are pursuing their education. And it is extremely anger-inducing that this misrepresentation of what we do and how important our work is perpetuating and is not being corrected even by the highest court. of our land, and then, then I go to sadness.
She said, but let me just stop there 1 minute. And this is one of the complaints you hear. What we do is we fund it. Where does the money come from for the education department to fund it? The money comes from individual states. Drill down on a granular level from that. The money comes from taxpayers in each one of the 50 states. So she's acting like the money originates in Washington, D.C., and then they just sit there for the important work that we do. And then we at the right to get to decide how the money is going to get spent. And so we fund everything. And I'm incredibly sad. I'm angry. And I'm sad because the Supreme Court is letting Donald Trump and return money to the states instead of in Washington, D.C. I work for a government union. I'm a lawyer. We fund them. You don't fund them. The taxpayers fund all of this. And what the United States Department of Education did and is doing has allowed blue city after blue city in America to produce generation upon generation of failing students on a widespread level. Now, that may not change with the money going toward the states, but at least the money and the power will be closer to home. And there is a glimmer of belief that there could be some accountability. Now, before we get out of here today, I got to play a few more things quickly. 14 and then 15. This is still what is being out there from Democrats to their base, and this is how their base is reacting to all of the antics. At your will, sir.
If you're an ICE agent, you're a domestic terrorist and an absolute piece of shit. And I wish everything horrible and awful for you every day, every day. I hope that when you come home from terrorizing people, destroying families, traumatizing other human beings, that the place is empty. Your wife took the kids and the dog. She emptied out the fridge and the bank account and had time to get a U-Haul and take every thing out of your residence. It's like the Grinch was there on the night before Christmas and there's not a crumb. I hope between the way you cover your face because you're and the weight of all the tactical gear that you're wearing because you're acting like you're going off to war, that your vision and your balance is kind of off and you trip on whatever, a pothole, a rock, and when you fall on your fat, disgusting face, one of your weapons turns on you. I don't care which one. A knife stabs you, a gun shoots you, your pepper spray sprays you in the mouth, up the nose, and in your eyeballs. Maybe your eye's bleeding, you're sick for days, you can't breathe, and you think you're going to die. I'd love that for you.
They're nuts. They're nuts. Here's another one, ladies and gentlemen. Cut number 15.
If you guys see these ICE agents out here and you think they're trying to kidnap somebody, start socking these in the mother face. If their faces are covered, if they're not identifying themselves other than I'm a border patrol agent, like I don't give a about that, bro. You better show me a warrant. You better show me something. You have a right to defend other people. It stems from self-defense itself. It's often called the alter ego defense. I mean, yeah, bro, they're going to charge you with assault. You're going to go through some but, bro, we'll get you a GoFundMe. You know what I'm saying? We'll get you bonded out, get you a lawyer, and then you're going to have a civil rights lawsuit if they use excessive force in response. But start firing on these motherfuckers, man. If I see somebody that I think is getting kidnapped or they're trying to take somebody that they shouldn't be taking and they're doing all this I'm them up, bro. And I might get in response. I could take a lick. But this needs to start happening so these motherfuckers have to take their masks off, man. Because this is some bullshit. But it's a defense. And if that happens to you and they charge you with assault and your defense is self-defense, you waive a jury trial, bro. You go to a bench trial, especially if you're in a red state. Now, if you're in a Democratic state, if you're in Los Angeles, you can go to a jury trial because the jury's going to acquit you. But
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you got the gist of that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's do this. Let's hit it to a little break here, and we will be back, wrap things up on this, the fastest hour in American media. Oh, man. Who's this, Kev? I know who this is, obviously, but...
This is the Four Tops. 1965, I Can't Help Myself, number 2 on the Billboard charts.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. James Golden, Snerdley. Keep it right here. Don't go away.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere, nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. Goldbelly ships Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garden's famous cakes. So, if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT. That's goldbelly.com, promo code GIFT.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Okay, we listen and we don't judge. Yes, I have 7 kids, and I am currently pregnant right now with my 8th child. 7 baby daddies and another one. I got 8 baby daddies. Yes, we're getting $3K in food stamps. Yes, we are killing it, honey. We are killing it. No, I'm not ashamed. I've been a mom since age 14. I got pregnant at age 14 with my first child. I've been doing this by myself and getting help from the government. Why not get help from the government? I'm a single parent. I'm a single mother out here raising these kids by myself. So yes, all of them on child support. So I'm getting all those child support checks, and I'm getting my 3K in food stamps. I have a food stamp plug that helps me. Yes, a food stamp plug that helps me get 3K a month. And he works in the office. So, yeah, don't judge me. That's it. We all go through things, just don't judge me.
8 kids, 8 baby daddy. Don't judge me. Yes, I get government checks. We have time for that other one, Kev. Barely.
So check this out, everybody. I'm on board the Carnival Panorama. And I just had a couple of drinks, and guess who just stepped on board? There was 5 ICE agents on board looking for somebody. So guess what? They're going to nab somebody before we even set sail. They're not giving me a chance to go to Cabo and Ensenada. ICE is here to pick them up.
Gentlemen, even on the cruise ships, ICE. Need more ICE, sir? Yes, I believe I do. Well, that's it for today. We got to jump. May God bless, protect each and every single one of you, your families, your loved ones. Love and gratitude, my friends, for your being here with me and allowing me to be with you. God willing, we are back tomorrow for the Wednesday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, the fastest hour in American media. Until then, my friends, I bid you adieu.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.